Hey, what's up guys, Totallydubbed here, and today I'm doing a video review on the BenQ EX3200R. Now this is a massive 31.5 inch curved monitor, but interestingly it's got a 16:9 aspect ratio. Most monitors of its size, or even in terms of curvature, would be ultra wide and therefore have a 21:9 or 21:10 aspect ratio. In this respect we have a 16:9. Now, before going into the specs, I just want to quickly talk about its price. It can be found for £400 on Amazon.co.uk and $450 in the US. Links will be down in the description below in case you're interested. Now, going into its specs, I again found it a little bit interesting of its 16:9 aspect ratio. It has a full HD resolution, which is 1920 x 1080. This runs at 144 Hz. You've got various inputs, you've got HDMI, you've got DisplayPort and mini DisplayPort to choose from. I'm running it right now on DisplayPort 1.2. It has a panel of a VA. I'm reading the specs right now, but it's got a VA panel on it. So that's what's a little bit more intriguing for me, because unlike most panels, you'd expect a TN panel for a gaming monitor. This is a VA panel, which is more of a trend going forwards now. So this gives it a quoted response time of 4 milliseconds G to G, and I'll get into that in just a bit when it comes to my gaming performance tests. Other than that, it's got no inbuilt speaker. It's got HDMI 1.4 ports, which I talked about before. It's not 2.0, so do bear that in mind. It has a headphone output jack, so you can use that if needs be. And other than that, it's got all the normal things that you expect from a monitor. However, it does not have AMD FreeSync or NVIDIA G-Sync, which is a quite intriguing stance by BenQ, because a lot of their monitors don't actually have the feature. So bear that in mind when you're going to be purchasing, or if you're going to be purchasing the monitor. Now let's talk about its build quality. Now the monitor is massive. It's huge. It does take a massive space on your desk, but it is well built and therefore is also quite sturdy. The sturdiness comes from the stand. It's a metal stand, which looks really nice. It's got a sort of silver finish, whereas the monitor has a sort of black finish on the sides, which is pretty much normal for a monitor. It's got tilt adjustments and height adjustments. You can't pivot it for obvious reasons given its size and its curvature. Now the curvature is quite intriguing because it's got a 1800R curvature, which means that you are a little bit more taken by the curve when you're sitting in front, and therefore it feels like it's going around you rather than just being a slight curve and therefore adding a huge amount to the price. This actually has a sort of curvature that makes you feel more into the game or more into the movie, because the sides over here really do wrap around your head. Well, not quite literally, but that's how it feels like in terms of your peripheral vision. So I quite like that, and I love the fact that what BenQ have done here. Now in terms of the build quality, the bezels are relatively thin, which is nice to see. There's not too much of a depth either with the display and the bezels, so again that's a plus point. However, one thing I did not like was the button placement for the OSD. Now I understand not many people are going to be accessing that much, but it's something that I should mention. The buttons are found kind of over here where my fingers are, hopefully you can see. So like a hand away from the right end of the monitor. It would be great if I could speak. But anyway, with the buttons, you've got some quick launch buttons that you can customize through the OSD. Now the OSD has got no sort of problems whatsoever, as in it's quite comprehensive. If I just zoom in over here, you guys will be able to see what you get with the OSD. Well, should I say bring you closer as well will be a good point. So just going to zoom in, and you'll be able to see over here you've got display, which gives you PIP and PBP, which is great for several different sources with different sort of images appearing on the screen. In a picture mode, you've got brightness, which I've set to 100, contrast on 50, sharpness 0, gamma on 3, color temperature on user define. Now this is what I found the best sort of more accurate colors to come out, with R on 98, G on 97 and B on 100. Going back, you've got AMA, which I'll get into in the gaming section of this review. I put it on premium and it's fantastic to use it on premium. I would definitely suggest it. In the picture advanced, you choose the picture mode, which I've put on custom 1. The color vibrance on 10, low blue light mode off, super resolution in order to give you extra pixels, so to speak, but they're just virtual pixels, if that makes sense. Display mode full, and then other than that, you've got the audio settings, which is to do with the headphone jack out, and in the system settings, which you can customize the custom keys, the OSD settings, the auto switching of the HDMI and display ports, auto power off, and also give you information and the display ports, which you should always be on 1.2 unless you've got some sort of problem with your PC. So there we go, that's the OSD settings. Very comprehensive, no problems with the OSD whatsoever. It's just that accessing the OSD and those OSD buttons are not something that I particularly like using. I just found it a little bit awkward. Now, talking about the panel. Now, the panel has a VA panel on it. Now, what do I think of it? In all honesty, when I was using it, I just felt the colors were just a little bit washed out. Colors didn't really pop that much, and in all honesty, I just felt something was missing. Just gonna go in terms of a slideshow with some certain pictures over here. In this image, I felt that the building had some sort of good contrast, which is quite normal when it comes to a VA panel, but the colors just didn't pop. The colors just didn't come out at me. It should be really bright red coming out over here with some greenery over here. It should be really showing and showcasing the color. This just does not look, it doesn't make me look at the image and go, oh, I want to see more. It makes me look at the image going, okay, well, it's got the colors right there, the contrast is there, but there's nothing too special about it. Moving through different images, again, this image is one that I always look at as a comparison, because you can see the horizon over here should really be coming out, and a track should be really detailed and showcasing a lot of detail, not in terms of just resolution, I mean in terms of the colors that come out, with the rail being rusty, to the little tracks which are broken, and to the water over here. It just doesn't show that much of excitement or vibrance. In this image, you've got dark blue colors that should be coming out over here. Again, they're relatively average, with the deep blue of the sea being, well, tame to say the least. Going through some other images, let's see this one. This is a good one for in terms of having a deep blue color. Again, there's a bit of a lacking of a deep blue color. It's more of a lightish navy blue, which is a shame. The white point is correct, and again, the black by the ship is correct as well, so you've got a good contrast ratio, but again, it feels that something is just missing. When I was looking at games as well, again, things were just missing. So in terms of the color reproduction, I feel that it's accurate. However, I feel that it's also just a little bit off. It's not as vibrant as I would like it to be, and it's just not as exciting or enticing to say the least. Now, moving on to gaming. Now, in terms of gaming, I play Counter-Strike all the time. I love competitive games. Now, if you're going to be a casual gamer, this probably won't apply to you as much, but it's still something that you might want to look for in terms of what I'm talking about in terms of the game. Now, as you saw, I had AMA and on premium. Now, I must say, using the monitor on premium, I felt that the monitor was super responsive, and it really dealt with everything that was thrown at it, to the point that I would actually use this monitor for competitive gaming. I'd have absolutely no problem using this in Counter-Strike at a global level of Counter-Strike. So it is a fantastic monitor for competitive gaming. It's one I would definitely use, and given the fact it's 144 Hz as well, it means that it's great in terms of missing shots like that, which should be really easy to get. No, but it's 144 Hz refresh rate is fantastic in order to aid it through all the gaming needs that you're going to have. Now, in terms of its input lag, I feel it's extremely minimal. In fact, it was very, very accurate in terms of the representation of my movements of my mouse. It works fantastically. In terms of the AMA, I've noticed barely any ghosting. There's very, very minimal ghosting, to the point that I would just say, look, use premium AMA, you'd probably get a better result off that in terms of the response time of the monitor, but there is very, very minimal ghosting, which might appear in more demanding games such as like Battlefield. You'll notice a lot more ghosting occurring in, say, dark scenes or forestry, things like that. You will notice ghosting. If you're competitive gaming, use overdrive or AMA on the maximum setting. If not, go one notch up to more of the normal setting for your average game like Battlefield, which is less competitive, which doesn't require as fast as a response time, at least in my opinion, for games. So there we go, guys. That is my thoughts on the gaming. Now, in terms of the overall monitor, I think it's a fantastic monitor. It's £400, which doesn't come across as cheap. However, given what you're getting a curved, massive 31.5 inch monitor that has a 144 Hz refresh rate. It's fantastic for gaming. It might not have the best colors, might not have the best buttons for your OSD, but it's great overall. So I definitely recommend it. Make sure you check it out in the description below. Alright guys, I've been Totally Dubbed. Take care. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe and all that jazz. Take care guys. Totally Dubbed out. Bye bye.